The further that you delve into so-called gender transitions in Canada compared to all other countries across Earth, the more that you realize we are truly run by a demonic set of people here in Canada. Whether it's Diplo, the famous DJ, just coming out in my last video and exposing he was with Trudeau in a sexual manner. The man was obviously a closeted homosexual. Mark Carney having pictures with him with the most notorious sex trafficker in American history, Ghislaine Maxwell, just him and her standing together. And now in Canada, these hormones, these puberty blockers that have been banned in every single other country. The UK has banned them, France has banned them. In Canada, we refuse to ban hormones being doled out to Canadian children as young as 10 years old. 10-year-old Canadian children are being doled out hormones after spending the entirety of their life being indoctrinated by this sick cult that tells them from the time they're 5 that it's normal for a man to become a woman and a woman to become a man. As I said, banned in the most liberal countries in the world, banned in the UK, banned in France. Canada says 10-year-old children can get on hormones. Puberty blockers cause permanent changes to young human beings that cannot be reversed. The UK, France, every single liberal G7 country that you can think of have banned puberty blockers for 14-year-olds. They have said it is not acceptable that we allow children, babies who are 14 years old to make inalterable changes to their genetic makeup. But in Canada, again, we are the only country that has not banned puberty blockers for 14-year-olds. There's something spiritual going on. You look in the eyes of Mark Carney, of Sean Fraser, of Mark Miller, of Anita Anand. These are truly evil people who get joy out of destroying the lives of young children and telling them, like so many people do, so many young people who are struggling in life, oh, maybe you're the wrong gender. Maybe you should go on hormones. This is sick stuff. We have seen a 20 times, not 20%, a 20 times increase in the amount of trans-identifying youth in Canada. And there's always these rashes among young people that become quite popular. In the 90s was bulimia and anorexia, particularly young women. There are always these trends, these social contagions, but the sickness to be pushing young children that if they're not feeling good or they're having issues, as so many kids do when they're 12, 14 years old, to be pushing in classrooms that they were born the incorrect gender and that they should mutilate themselves, go on hormones, go on puberty blockers. This is the work of the devil. There's no other way to describe what's going on. And Mark Carney, why are there all those pictures of you with the most notorious sex trafficker in U.S. history? We know nobody at the CBC CTV will ask you about it, but I think that's pretty notable. I think it's relatively fair to point out that, hey, the man who's now the Prime Minister of Canada has many pictures. He claims that they're AI generated. They're not AI generated. They're real. He's standing there chatting with the most notorious child sex trafficker in U.S. history. What's the context for that, Mark Carney? Why is that the case? So we're doling out when even the UK, France, as I said, every other liberal country has said, no, 10 is too young for hormones. And the UK is as liberal as it gets under Keir Starmer. Even there, they said 10 is way too young for hormones. 14 is way too young for children to be making these inalterable decisions. We're doing gender reassignment surgeries in Canada as young as 16. Why Canada? Why are we still taking these extreme measures with children after they've been indoctrinated for the entirety of their life? I know teachers in Canada, they are talking to kids who are 6, 7 years old about you might have been born in the wrong body. It's sick. And like I said, this is not just a political issue. This is a spiritual issue. These people are sick in the head, and they are working for forces that we don't quite understand, but they certainly, we can say definitively, are not pro-human forces. As I said, when you just look at Trudeau, look at Carney, what effect do you get when you look at Mark Carney speak? The dead eyes, the dead giveaway of a liar, the fact that he sent one of his children to Tavistock. Look up Tavistock. It's been totally discredited. And he sent a young child of his. It's disgusting. The fact that they are pushing this stuff in schools, pushing confused young children. We all know there's a reason that these manias tend to hit young people. It's because your brain's not fully developed, and it's when you're most vulnerable. Of course, you have the least life experience. You don't really know what's going on. Of course, you're innocent. You're a young 10-year-old child, and the government of Canada to be pumping out time and time again, oh, you're a 10-year-old who's not feeling good, which throughout all human history, there's a hell of a lot more 10-year-olds that aren't feeling good than are. Oh, here, let us pump you up with some hormones. Let us get you some puberty blockers. That is the devil's playground. There's no other way. There's absolutely no other way to define it. And Justin Trudeau, Mark Carney are pushing this stuff on young children. You go into classrooms in Canada and you see all the trans flags. This is what communists always do. They target the most vulnerable people out there. They know that you start sticking this stuff in 30, 40, 50-year-old faces, they're going to say, get the fuck out of here with this bullshit. You're not indoctrinating my kids. But when you have a 10-year-old can't defend themselves, a 12-year-old can't defend themselves, they're just going to go along with whatever the teacher tells them. They're going to assume, oh, this person's here for my best interest, and that's what they take advantage of. It's what the commies always do. They target the young children. You look at what's going on in the States right now. The reason Mamdani's going to win is because it's all young people who are going to vote for him, and they're the ones who have been most indoctrinated. Canadians need to wake up to the fact it is a spiritual battle in this country, and we have demonic entities currently leading our government. Just look at Mark Carney, the dead-eyed creep. Look at Justin Trudeau. I know he puts on that fake smile, but the guy is a total phony and clearly working on behalf of evil forces. We need to stand up, call the show. This woke ideology needs to die, because now it is young children who are being destroyed, having their lives destroyed by these creeps, these absolute creeps, and it has to end now. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member. Help me get the message out. Grab some gear, donate. Really appreciate the support. We need to call these creeps out every time.